Hey guys, it's Besties on the Deck. Thank you for joining us again. This is going to be our episode number 5. Woo!
I thought we were on 4. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're on 5. All right, so today's topic is going to be true crime, women's obsession.
Yes, women's obsession, because women are obsessed with true crime.
Absolutely. I was just reading an article that said about 73% of women are the main outlet or people who are interested in true crime stories. That's the demographic, which I think is kind of funny.
Sent me a TikTok one day, and it was this man, and he's informing all the other men out there to be very careful. Treat your ladies right. Do your women right, because they're listening to True Crime podcast, and they're going to know how to kill us and how to get away with it.
Exactly.
And Michael sent that to me because he was like, I worry sometimes. I'm like, oh, you have nothing to worry about, but the general person in general might have a little something to worry about, but not Michael.
Yeah, I think I first started watching true crime stuff when I was little. And then, of course, I spent weekends at my aunt and uncle's house, and my uncle would always let us stay up late and watch the Friday the 13th movies.
I've never seen one.
Oh, my gosh.
I've seen bits and pieces of several different ones, but I've never seen one from beginning to end.
I think what I've learned from watching those kind of movies is, one, never be alone with somebody in like the woods or something, especially trying to do the dirty in the woods, because there may be a serial killer out there. And no matter how fast you run, that SOB catches up no matter what.
Yeah, even though he's just walking at a slow pace,
yes,
a scary pace, and yet he always catches up.
And then you've got Freddy Krueger, who attacks you during your dreams.
But see, the thing about Jason and Freddy and who is it? Michael Myers and all of these, they scare me. That's why I don't watch the movies, because just their features, them themselves scare me.
Right.
But I don't watch the movie. But those are the kind of movies that if I did watch scary movies, I would watch those, because those can't really happen. There can be no Freddy Krueger. There can be no Jason. I mean, didn't they do one where Jason went to space?
They did some really corny ones.
I mean, really stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So, but that stuff can never happen. But then you turn it to like Amityville Horror.
Yeah, stuff that's actually happened.
Real haunted house.
Based on true stories, yeah.
Like real things like that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or, that's what makes movies scarier to me. If it's based on a true story, I can't watch it. It totally scares me. But yet I will sit and watch true crime all day long. But it's not the murder that gets me. It's not like I'm obsessed with murder and violence. I'm obsessed with the who, what, when, and why.
Exactly.
Like, how did they do this? And how were they caught? Why did they do it? What was their motivation?
I think a good percentage of the true crime stories that I've listened to, most of the time it's an unhappy marriage. Most of the time it's a big life insurance policy that was either upgraded or recently taken out. And instead of getting a divorce, that person tries to kill their spouse.
It's almost always about money, and sometimes there are crimes of passion where it's because someone was cheating or someone loved someone and it wasn't returned.
Yeah.
That love wasn't returned, and so they get violent. But yeah, for the most part, it's all about money. It's about the wife wanting to be with her lover and taking all of her husband's life insurance money.
Or vice versa. Yeah.
I even heard one about a friend. It said they were best friends, but I don't see a best friend doing this to another friend. But there was these two women, and they were friends, and they lived in Aspen. And one of them had one of the real fancy homes in Aspen, and one lived like right on the outside of Aspen. And so the rich one was going away for 3 months, and so she asked her friend if she would house sit for her.
Yeah.
And she ends up doing all this crazy stuff and basically starts living in the house acting like it's hers. And when the chick comes back, she won't get out, and she ends up killing her.
Wow.
I mean, and there was no money involved. She just wanted her house, and she wanted her to live her life. It was just so... Things like that just fascinate me. I'm fascinated by the stories behind true crime, not the act itself.
Right.
I'm not morbid like that. I'm not into gore and all that jazz.
Well,
but I love the storylines.
Yes,
too.
yes. And you've actually watched and listened to a couple different true crimes that you've sent me.
So
And
that's practically all I have on my phone.
yeah, and what's crazy is all the different platforms that those stories come out in. You've told me yourself that you find new information that you didn't know when you heard it on a different one
Yes,
or a
and
different
that's a
story.
good thing. But the bad thing is when you know a story inside and out, and then you hear a podcast on it, and they've got the facts wrong, and they're not giving all the really juicy details. They're
Right.
just skimming over. And so I get real perturbed because I'm like, no, you're getting this wrong. I know this story, and because I've listened to so many and I've heard the same story over and over through different podcasts, you do get a different perspective, and I do like that, and I enjoy that, but I hate it when you come across one that isn't quite
Isn't being told the
up
way
to
it should.
par. Yeah. And then I'm like, you just butchered the whole story. And if that was the first time anybody was hearing about it, they have no idea all the juicy stuff that got left out and everything. That happened to me last week, and I was just like, I wanted to reach through my phone and just strangle this person because I'm like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. This is not how you tell the story.
Yeah, exactly. I also think that with women being the biggest group to watch, true crime stories, I think me personally, like I said, I grew up watching horror movies and stuff with my uncle, and with my dad I used to watch Child's Play, and
Never saw it?
pretty morbid, but
Yeah.
yeah. I think in a way, a lot of people are mentally preparing themselves for possible situations that you could be put in.
Well, you learn a lot from true crime. You learn what to avoid. You learn tricks of the trade, like putting your keys between your knuckles when you go out.
I do that
to-
every time I walk out of the store.
You learn about tricks that people will use to abduct women, abduct children, and you know what to look for. You can
Yeah.
be more mentally and
Hyper
physically
vigilant.
prepared.
Yeah.
And that's just like how to bust out of a trunk of a car. What do you do if you're thrown in a trunk? Well, you bust out the light and you stick your hand through the tail light.
Uh-huh.
And, you learn where, like, certain latches are in these newer cars that,
Yes.
so that never happens. And I don't care if I'm going flying down the freeway. If I'm in a trunk, I'm opening the latch. And
I'm
flagging
looking for
somebody
something.
down.
Absolutely.
So, but you do learn a lot, and it's just fascinating in of itself. But I just find that I feel more mentally and physically prepared. I mean, I don't know how I would respond if someone tried to attack me, but I'd like to think I've got enough knowledge and enough fear instilled in me from knowing what could happen that I would be able to fight my way back and out of it.
We should just pull a Miss Congeniality if someone
I've
ever
never
comes
seen
up.
it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's called Sing. SING. See somebody comes up behind you. Okay? Wraps their arms around you, right?
Yeah.
First thing you do is you take your elbow and you hit their solar plex and you go boom. Then you step on their foot. In step on their foot. Nose, take that hand and whack it as hard as you can back. Groin, elbow 'em with the other elbow in the groin. Sing. Solar plex, instep, nose, groin. Miss Congeniality teaches that a easy way to be able to help yourself in a bad situation from a attacker,
Well,
which I
and,
think is really
they talk
funny.
about, mama strength. How moms have been known to lift cars off of their children.
Oh,
because you
adrenaline
get
rushes,
that
I believe
adrenaline.
it.
I've always been curious what would happen to me in a situation like that. Like, we went to a haunted farm one time, and it was all outside, and the trail was really dark, and people, that's what they did. They jumped out of the cornfield. They jumped out from behind
I
stuff.
probably have a heart attack.
And they would chase you, like, with chainsaws that obviously didn't have the chain on them. But it's still scary. It's
Yes.
still loud, and you're in the dark, and someone you don't know is chasing you. It is scary.
Yeah.
I have failed to come out on top in any of those situations. I'm usually squeezing Michael's arm so tight that it turns blue. Because I just get so scared. But I do wonder what would happen if I found myself in that kind of situation.
How you'd
would
react.
I hold my own?
Yeah.
Would I be able to get out of it?
I think the biggest thing is, one, it takes you by surprise when you're in that situation. And two, is my mind going to be thinking clearly to be able to react in time? And I think my biggest fear has always been, and it's like one of those nightmares you get when you're in the middle of a situation that you're trying to get out of and you can't scream. And in your dream, you're like trying to scream, but nothing's coming out. And I think that's probably one of my biggest fears is if I'm ever in trouble and I need to yell for help, am I going to freeze? Or am I going to go into fight mode and start doing everything possible? You never know until you're in that situation.
Yeah, I don't want to ever find out, to be honest. I don't ever want to be attacked or anything like that. But I do often think about how would I handle myself? Like, would I remember the moves of the groin and the nose and the...
Yeah, where's your mind going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I just,
Do you
or am
remember
I going to sit
everything?
there and try to talk them out of it? Look, you don't want me. I'm very high maintenance.
It's just not worth it.
You don't want me. You really need to focus your efforts on somebody else.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Oh my gosh.
Try to talk them out of it.
Exactly. And like you were saying, one of the newest things one of our friends in our 6 Foot Deep crew sent us is the trend of the zip ties on your door handle. And going to try and take that off or whatever, that is an attacker's way of getting you to pay attention to something else while they try to grab you. So they always say, don't touch.
On the car.
Money, paper, anything.
Anything. I mean, they're getting really crafty, but at least it's getting attention, and therefore other people are learning about it. And
educate yourself.
Because there's no telling how long the the water bottle thing has been going on.
Right.
Where, for anybody that doesn't know, basically, there's two things they do with the water bottles. One, they'll put it on your hood. So as you're walking up to your car, if you're like me, you're focused on getting your keys out, or if you have your keys out, you're focused on finding your car, looking, and you just go straight to the door. You use your key and you get in. Yeah. You don't examine your car before you get in. So the idea is you get in and you see, oh, there is a full water bottle on the hood of my car. What do? You get out and you get it, and that is when they grab you.
Right.
Because you're distracted.
I'd leave it on the hood and pull away.
That's what they say do. But the other thing that they do with the water bottles is they put it showed in the video how, and don't ask me because I'm not handy like that, but they put an empty water bottle in where the back passenger tire will hit it. They attach it up under your car, and it makes a very loud thumping sound, so you think your tire has blown.
Oh, shoot.
And so the more you drive, the more thumping it gets and the louder it gets.
Yeah.
And so obviously what do? You pull over to see what's going on. Do you have a flat tire? And that's when they grab you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if, unfortunately, hundreds, probably if not thousands of people have fallen prey to this, but yet if it wasn't known out there, we wouldn't be prepared, and I would think, oh, I need to get that off my hood, and I would have got out of my car and got it, and I mean, it's just, you have to be so careful. And they're not abducting men.
No.
They're abducting women.
And
they're
children.
abducting children.
Yeah.
It's like men can just go through life and not worry about a thing because they're not going to be sex trafficked. They're not going to be abducted and used in slavery. I mean, it's the females. It's us. Yeah. We're the main prey for these predators.
Exactly. I used to work at a place, and there was always a lot of crime or issues around that area. And so the coworkers, when we would get off work, we would all walk together to our cars at night just to make sure everybody got in their cars, everybody was good. And it's sad that nowadays, I mean, you've got to be aware of just about everything. You can't even trust people anymore that come up to you and be like, hey, do you got, a couple bucks or whatever for gas?
Or they come up to you and they'll have a track, like a salvation track, and they'll say, can I pray with you? And if you touch the paper, it's lace.
Right. And that's terrifying because I was just told the other day that there is they're making something now that's even worse and more potent than fentanyl.
Oh my God.
And people who are smoking weed or certain things, there's so much junk being laced into so much now that what a small high would have gotten you could kill you. And I mean, off topic but on topic. I went to a department store to grab a few things, and in the, I don't know, 5 minutes that I was there, I witnessed a gentleman in one of the sections, and he looked very out of place. He was in a woman's section, okay? It was all women's hair products and
Well,
stuff.
nowadays you just don't know.
Right. He had sunglasses on in the middle of this store that is lit so brightly. He was wearing a ball cap, a hoodie, some sweats, flip flops. Totally, look pretty comfy. But for the day that we were having, it was hot. So I watched him while I was looking for my products, and he's watching this lady with a little toddler in her cart, little baby girl, and she's smiling at him and stuff, and she's just kind of playing with her toys while her mom shops, and he locked eyes with that child, no joke, for at least 2-3 minutes solid. I stood there watching, and I was like, oh, hell no. Well, they went around the corner, and he started following. Well, then he sees another female with a small baby, and then starts kind of nonchalantly following that person. And right before I left, after I got everything I needed, I went up to an employee and made them aware of it, and was like, look, I don't mean to point fingers, I could be completely wrong. I said, but my gut's telling me something's going on here. And I explained what I witnessed. I explained what he was wearing, where he was at. And she goes, you know what? I'm glad you said something, because you don't know nowadays. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff that comes out. We had a lady, her company came and installed a fence for us. And she told us that she was out grocery shopping one day with her daughter and 2 little kids, and some vehicle parked few spaces down, but was running and was parked in an awkward way, like didn't pull straight in to a parking space, but was parked diagonally to make, or I'm sorry, horizontally to make a beeline for the exit, right? Well, they're getting all their stuff put into the trunk, and one of the babies is in the big part of the buggy, and one is in the little seat for smaller kids. She said that some guy came up when they weren't looking and went to snatch the child from the cart.
Oh my gosh.
And they ran him down and got the kid, and then the guy hurried up, jumped in the car, and left. I mean, you have to be completely vigilant. You cannot be oblivious while you are out in public anymore. It doesn't matter.
You can't be on your phone. You can't be looking through social media. You have to be focused on your surroundings, and especially if you've got your kids or grandkids with you.
Yeah. We were in a grocery store, and I have my youngest with me. She's very sociable. Well, there's a gentleman that works there who always tries to talk to her or say hi or whatever. The mommy gut tells me this is not okay. This seems more targeted, because this gentleman would only speak to the little ones. And, my little one wants to be friends with everybody. So she's trying to talk to him, or if we get a couple aisles down, she's waving at him. And he kind of like slowly followed us through the store. And he mainly stays in the meat department. So I'm sitting here going, I don't like this. Well, my husband has witnessed this as well when we've gone into that store. And so it just clarified everything for me that if he's getting that gut feeling, then my intentions are very, very on point, because he's very good at reading people too, especially when it comes to stuff like that. And she kept trying to say hi to him, and I would put her in between me and the cart and away, because I didn't want him looking at her. I didn't want him smiling at her. I didn't want her seeking attention from it. You have to let them know, you know what? No, that is not okay.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be able to tell a young person like her at her age that there's not good people in this world that are inclined to hurt little ones like her.
Well, it used to be criminals were so stupid. They were just so stupid. And they would get caught. But now they're getting crafty.
Yeah.
They're starting to think these things out, plan these things out. And so you can't take for granted, oh, I'm smarter than a stupid criminal. I could never be done over like that. I could never be fooled like that. No, people are getting fooled and tricked every single day. And that's how kids are ended up disappearing, murdered, trafficked. I mean, and it's not just kids. Like I said, they're taking grown women.
Yeah. Well, and another thing I was told, and this could be not true, but I actually kind of understand the logic behind it. If you have tattoos and distinguishing marks and things like that, they're not inclined to grab people like that because they're easily identifiable. So they want people who don't have...
Like the transits and the...
Right. People that will be
prostitutes
easily
and-
missed.
Yeah, people that would not be missed.
Yeah, and that to me just... I'm grateful because I'm covered in tattoos, but it makes me worried
I'm
for...
gonna get attacked and be like, look, I have a tattoo on my ankle. You
Right,
don't want
see,
me. You
yeah,
don't want
see,
me. I have an ankle on my tattoo.
Everybody knows that one.
I have an ankle on my tattoo. Did you just hear what I said? A tattoo on my ankle.
Oh, you have an ankle tattoo.
But see, just like
It
that.
still
I would
goes.
be in that position, be like, no, I have an ankle on my tattoo.
You don't want me. I talk too much. No,
Like, dude, I'm gonna talk your ear off. You might as well just either kill me now or let me go.
yes, but I do think for, especially me, I want to know what everybody else is thinking too. Like, what's your favorite true crime story that you've heard, or...
Or have you been in a situation?
Yes. What is your true crime experience?
Yes, if you've had one. Or just, even if it was just where you sensed something could have happened, and thank God it didn't, but you were in that position where you had to be on high alert, and you got yourself out of a potentially dangerous situation.
Yeah. So one story we were over at Blossom's house and hanging out and whatnot, and all of a sudden we hear this massive crash outside, and we open up the garage door, and there is a minivan that has crashed into the power pole and has rolled back into the corner house driveway, and their driveway is at a slant. And I start running over there because it's a minivan. Like, I'm thinking this van's full of kids, a family. No, I get over there. There's a certain person inside. He's very jumbled. I'm trying to say, are you okay?
I swear he was drunk or high. I
He
swear
must
it
have been
was.
something. But he did not want to be caught, period.
And then that's when he ran into the tree trying to get out of this
Yes.
driveway. Yeah.
And, like, the engine is smoking. There's
He's
liquid
banged
spewing.
up that van. I mean,
Oh,
we were
yeah.
all everybody was just standing around looking at this guy trying to go up a slant, back down into a tree.
Yeah.
Up a slant, back down into a tree. Finally
He almost ran me over.
Yeah, and he finally got out off of the hump of the yard onto the road. His back two tires were still stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and he was still doing it. I mean, he wasn't going to let anybody help him.
Nope.
He was bound and determined
He barely
to get
spoke.
away.
Yeah, he barely spoke English. It was very broken English.
Oh, there was oil spewing out from.
Oh
underneath
yeah,
the
I told him, I
hood.
was like,
It
"Sir, you need to
bad.
get out of this car. It's not safe. Like, you have stuff
No
going."
comprende.
Yeah, and he's too busy trying to find his cell phone that flew to the back of the van when he crashed. And then he's texting someone.
But he acted like he didn't even understand English.
Exactly, and like he was like, "Oh, I'm okay, or whatever, And I'm just like, "Sir, you need to get away from this car." Well, my husband's already calling 911. We've already got this
There's
dude's
a lot of
license
people
plate.
that already had 911.
Yeah, all the neighbors kind of like bunched together because when things happen around here, we're all wanting to know what happened. People
We're
even
nosy.
came down from the cul-de-sac wanting to know what happened.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets the car to move, and he gets up over the hill while I'm directing traffic, almost hits me with his damn van, and starts hauling butt down the road. He's got flat tires, his engine's busted, the
Oh, yeah, he didn't
transmission
make it very
spurt.
far at
Oh yeah,
all.
he gets down to the end of the road. Our neighbor at the time gets in his vehicle and follows, and so does our spouses.
Yeah.
And they've got patrol cars at the end of the street, and he can't go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so the neighbor pushed his truck up against that vehicle and shoved him in between a patrol car so he couldn't flee. And I mean, like, I even called and gave him, a witness statement or whatever. Nobody ever came to talk to me. But I'm just kind of like, dude, this dude almost freaking killed me with his car after I tried to help. And then he's fleeing the
Not
scene.
to mention, he could have killed people in the house if he had.
Oh, yeah, he would have went
further.
straight through.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm telling you, nowadays, it's just insane what you see.
Well, I used to always tell my girls growing up, I always told them to be vigilant, stay right beside me, don't walk away from me.
Hands on the buggy.
Yes. And because I told them, they take the pretty children.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I said, if you were ugly, I wouldn't have to worry about you, but you're beautiful, and they take the pretty children.
Right.
And that's the ones they want, and that's what makes it so scary. And I was so young when I had my oldest, and I was only 19 when I had her. And so she had started walking and was walking pretty good and getting where she was at that stage where she wants to run from me in the house and run from me in the yard, and it's fun and mommy's gonna chase me and giggling and everything like that. Well, we went shopping at a department store, and there was only one way in and one way out. I'm sure they had a back door, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
One way in, one way out. And I was with my mom, and so we had my oldest with me, and she was about between 3 and 3.5 years old at that time. And so they had these racks that were a circle. So you would walk all the way around a rack, and of course, there'd be a middle to it that you couldn't see because all the clothes are obviously hanging, right?
Yeah.
And so we were in there for quite a while, and all of a sudden I look down and I can't find her. And I look over at my mom, who's on the other side of this round piece that we're going through the clothes. And she's like, no, I don't have her. And so I immediately, I didn't even give me a chance to calmly respond. I just went into major mom mode.
Yes.
And so I ran to the head of the store. I threw my back and my arms up against the door, and I was like, no one is leaving this store until I find my baby. There was a lady that had just made her purchase. She was coming down the aisleway, like she was going to walk out the door. I'm like, nobody's leaving until I find my baby.
Yeah.
I was crying. She had been missing 35 seconds by this point,
right.
And I was already in tears, convinced somebody had my child.
Yeah.
And it took us about 15 minutes, and we found her up under one of those racks. She had crawled up in there. That's why we didn't see her feet.
Yeah.
And she just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I hugged her, and I squeezed her, and I loved on her. And then I busted her tail so hard, she never did that again.
I definitely used to hide in the clothing racks when my mom would go to the store when I was little. It was so much fun to, like, reach your hand through and grab somebody's leg as they're walking by.
I know I probably traumatized her because I'm loving on her. First I'm screaming her name, then I'm loving on her, kissing on her. I'm so excited that I have her back, that she's okay. And then I beat the snot out of her bottom and, be like, don't you ever run away from Mama again.
Oh, yeah.
She was probably thinking, what is going on?
Oh.
Like, Mom went psycho.
Poor baby. Yeah, I think, I don't know what my obsession is. Like, with true crime stories like the Zodiac or the two brothers that killed their parents.
The Menendez.
Yes. John Wayne Gacy and, all those different...
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes.
Ted Bundy.
Some of that stuff is just wild to me. Like, I've watched a lot of the movies and the shows.
It's not even a fascination with the famous serial killers. It's just the one and done that fascinate me. Like just somebody that, like you said, like a husband that kills off his wife, or, anything. If it's got a good story to it, I'm interested. I'm hooked. I want to know, how did they get caught, and how did all this happen, and why didn't anybody see anything coming? What were their signs that, people missed, And, because you can hear these stories, and I find myself analyzing these stories as I'm listening on podcasts. And I'm like, I bet you anything this was this, and that was that, and he did this, and he did that. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like I could solve every crime out there if I was just given a chance.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The story you've sent me before was about a husband and wife, and they had kids, 2 little girls. And the husband was having an affair, and he killed the mother, and then wrapped her up all nice and pretty in a blanket, and put his 2 kids in the car with him
Oh, and the dead mom, and then to
and
the
then
oil tanks.
drove her out to what was like a work site or something,
It
and
was
put her in
an
oil
rig
tanks.
site, yeah.
Yes, and then killed his 2 daughters
He shoved them in the oil tank.
and put them in there, and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding
All
me.
for a woman when he could have just divorced his wife.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, y'all, if you're not that happy and you found somebody else that makes you happy, do the right thing. Just file for damn divorce, or be honest with your person and be like, you know what, I just don't think this is working
People
out.
don't get away with it. I mean,
It's not worth it.
it's so hard to get away with a crime nowadays. You've got GPS on phones. You've got security systems in houses with cameras.
Oh yeah, DNA analysis is so much better now.
I mean, it's just it's almost ridiculous to try and be a criminal nowadays. But time we have left, but I want to end on an upbeat note. So I'm going to get it in here before we start to wrap up. So I don't think this story technically falls under what I would call a true crime category, but it does apply to this. So I just find this fascinating, and this is why I say I listen to the stories behind the crimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's these two college students, and they're both seniors in college, and they were at the library and on campus.
Yeah.
And they leave, and their dorm. Now you have to imagine. So imagine you're on a college campus, and there's a library, and then out in front of the library is obviously like a small road where people could pull up in front of the library, and then there was this really large open area that had trees and everything, and you had to go through it to get to the other side of campus.
Okay.
So you could either walk along the road and go all the way around, or you could just cut straight through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So and one of them was like in a hurry. She was tired. She really wanted to get to bed. So she's like, I'm just going to take the shortcut.
Yeah.
But the other girl didn't feel comfortable because it was through the woods and it was not lit. And it was already dark outside. And so she tries to convince her friend to walk with her on the road.
Yeah.
And her friend's like, no, I'll just see you there. So her friend takes on ahead. Well, she waits a few moments and she decides, I don't want to be by myself. I'm just going to catch up with her, right? Mm-hmm. So it hadn't been but just a few moments. So she starts walking into that forested area thinking she's going to come upon her friend any minute, right?
Yeah.
Well, she does come upon her friend. And she's dead.
Oh my gosh.
She had been stabbed. Well, she sees her. I mean, it had just happened. She was still gasping for breath. There was nothing she could do.
Oh, no.
So she just takes off running, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gets campus security, and they come out there and everything. Well, unfortunately, the girl did not live. But they caught the guy. So in court, time passes because, it's not an instantaneous thing.
Right.
You don't go right to court after you commit a crime. You have to wait forever and a day.
Right.
So they're in the courtroom, and the surviving teenager was in there, and she asked him, she said, why did you not attack me? And he said, because you had the big man running next to you, and I was not about to take him on. And she said, what big man? And he said, I don't know, but I would not have attacked the other girl if I'd known that y'all had that kind of, somebody like that with you. And she couldn't understand what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, she goes on to tell her mother what had just the conversation she had had. And her mother said, that was your angel. Because every night when the sun goes down, I pray that you have angels surround you and keep you safe.
Oh, wow.
And I believe that he saw an actual angel with her in the form of protecting her.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That gave me chill bumps.
That's a real story. She goes around sharing this story.
Yeah.
At different churches and things like that and she tells it so much better. But it was just, I had goosebumps.
Wow. That's insane.
I know. But he said, if I would not have attacked y'all if I had known you had someone that big with you.
Oh my gosh.
And he was ready to attack her.
Wow.
She asked him, why didn't, because she had all this guilt of her friend died.
Survivor's guilt.
Survivor guilt.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy. All right, y'all. So that pretty much wraps up this portion of the true crime obsession with women. We love our true crime. And I think it just kind of gets us in a different mindset and escape reality for a little bit. But
Yes, it is a nice escape from reality.
I think that's why I watch the horror movies all the time, because in a lot of cases those kind of things wouldn't happen. So I guess it doesn't mess with me as much, but definitely the true crime stories are like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
can't
I
believe
could
that happened.
probably watch a Jason or a Freddy movie if I had to, and I probably wouldn't have nightmares, I'd say. But you put a scary true story in front of me, and I watch it, and I'm gonna have nightmares
Oh, yeah.
because, again, that stuff can happen. It
Absolutely.
did happen. So,
Yeah. Well, if you guys got a true crime story that either you've been through or listened to or watched, and you think it's something that,
you would like to share,
Yeah, share your stories, any information that you've
and
got.
topics that you want us to cover.
Of course. Always topics that you want to talk about, we're up to discuss. Just send that into the email at bestiesonthedeck.com. No, bestiesonthedeck at gmail.com.
I was about to say, isn't there a G in there?
Yeah, there's
somewhere?
something else in there. But again, if you liked our topics and what we're doing, give that video a like, subscribe. That helps
Tell a
us.
friend.
Yes, tell
And
a
we're
friend.
gonna get better as we go. You're along for the ride, and we welcome you because we're just getting our feet wet with this. This is only our 5th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not professionals at this, but we love what we do, and we want to keep doing it. And any input from listeners is greatly appreciated because you're who we're reaching out to. So we need to know what your thoughts are and if you have any suggestions.
Yes, absolutely. We want to bring common sense back to the table, y'all.
Yes.
So let's stop hiding behind all this junk the world has to offer nowadays, and let's start voicing our opinion and banding together, and just building a stronger connection with others and loving on others any which way you can. We do appreciate our listeners. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, Dad. All right, so
Hey, Daddy in heaven.
Yes, Daddy's listening in heaven. We absolutely love and miss you. But again, push that like and subscribe button, share it with a friend, and if you got any suggestions, let us know, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.